Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and there is a lot of exciting stuff going on right now with Magic the Gathering Arena. In case you missed it yesterday, Magic Arena is now available on both Android and iOS mobile devices and launched. So download it to your phone and get ready to battle. To celebrate, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do a little Q&A about Magic Arena. So I asked on YouTube and Twitter and got a lot of your great questions, but there's one problem. I don't work on Magic Arena. I can't answer your questions. So instead, I reached out to members of the Magic the Gathering Arena team, and they are going to answer questions right here and right now. This is just a small sliver of the Magic Arena team, and they are an incredible team, and I am so excited to introduce you to these wonderful folks today. Take it away, everybody. Which basic land art is used the most?
Hi, I'm Jake Kessler, Store Product Manager for Arena. What lands are the most popular? Well, our audience absolutely loves full art lands, like the ones from Unsanctioned or the full art snow lands from Modern Horizons. But the real cream of the crop here is the beautiful Nyx Starfield lands from Theros Beyond Death. I think these are just really different from any other lands we've ever done. Plus, they also make you feel like you're in space.
Is there a reason that the Amonkhet invocation art style isn't available on Magic Arena?
I'm Ian Adams. I'm a senior designer at Wizards of the Coast. Why didn't we do invocations? Invocations were mostly left out due to localization issues. The typefaces and fonts that were used in invocations don't exist in a lot of other languages or are even harder to read, so we weren't able to include them.
Is Sparky holding a grudge against the popular streamer Amy the Amazonian? Let's take a look at the clip for reference.
Amazonian woke up this morning and chose violence. I will never understand people like this who decide to just wail on poor old Sparky.
Sparky here taking nearly 20 million damage because there's about 20 million copies of Angrath's Marauders on the battlefield, in addition to the tokens and the Crater Hoof Behemoth. Sparky's just like, yep, see you again, Amy. I know that this isn't the last time.
Until next time.
Hi everyone, my name's Elizabeth Martino. I'm a senior QA analyst here at Wizards of the Coast. We do get a lot of questions similar to this one concerned about Sparky's well-being. I'm here to let everybody know that she's doing just fine. As the intangible manifestation of your immortal spark, she can't be harmed. That said, Amazonian did find an incredibly obscure bug there, so I do want to say thank you for finding that on behalf of all of QA.
Who decides what format is going to come up for FNM at home on Magic Arena? And how do they choose?
Hi, I'm Andy Claudis, and I'm an event designer on MTG Arena. I work on the live content team, and we're the ones who plan FNM at home. When we're planning the schedule out, we like to try to feature formats that are in the spotlight in Magic that weekend. So if there's a new standard set out, or a big historic tournament happening, then we like to feature those. Of course, we also rotate in interesting variant formats to give players play experiences they may not be used to. FNM at home is very popular, although it varies week to week depending on the format. The more accessible a format is, the more players come and play it. In fact, the most popular is often Momir, where you don't have to bring a deck at all.
What was the first card added to Arena for the sole purpose of the Momir Vig alternate format? And if you haven't played Momir before, it's a format where you play with a deck of all lands, and you can pay X mana and discard a card from your hand to create a random creature that's on Arena with mana value X.
Hi, my name is Scott. I'm a developer on Magic the Gathering Arena. Arena can actually pull any creature card in its catalog when creating creatures from Momir. As new cards are added to the catalog, they appear in the Momir mode automatically. There was a point in time that we wanted to add some extra mana value 9 and 10 cards in order to make the game mode a little more random. When we were looking for cards, I made a suggestion. One of my favorites for the mana value 9 was Colossus of Sardia. As a really long-time Magic player, it was one of my favorite cards growing up, and I was glad to see that it got included in the game somehow.
Who chooses the daily deals options, and what do they consider?
How do you choose the daily deals? Most of the time, we try to offer a range of styles for the cards players are playing the most. I look at the most played cards in Standard, Brawl, and Historic, and try to find fun styles for those cards that we may haven't offered in a while. I'm also really big on theme days, like doing a full cycle of styles at once, or when we did all those heart punts for Valentine's Day. Finally, I like sprinkling in a lot of sleeves into daily deals, just because I think they're super cool.
Will we see a returning queue for Kaladesh or Amonkhet Remastered?
We definitely like to run old formats in draft again. We see a lot of success around that, and all of those formats did well. So if it makes sense with our schedule, I could definitely see those coming back. Thanks.
Do you have any interesting or funny stories about the implementation of the rules engine?
Hi, my name is Ryan George. I'm a software developer at Wizards of the Coast, and I help implement card sets on the Arena client. So one of the ways that we're able to quickly test new cards and features in Arena are through a series of debug shortcuts. Things like wish for any card, grant all of your creatures haste, stuff like that. Early in Arena's development, we had a shortcut ominously named, in all caps, Bears. Activating Bears was supposed to create a really complex and chaotic board state. It would put a bunch of new cards into the game out of nowhere, it would trigger a bunch of different effects, things like that. In reality, it would just reliably break the game. Eventually, we decided that it probably wasn't worth the hassle to maintain this, so we unfortunately decided to cut Bears from the game. But I do miss it.
What's your favorite bug you found?
Hello, I'm Joanna Bledsoe. I'm a senior QA analyst at Wizards of the Coast. Not exactly my favorite bug, but one of the weirdest ones I've seen so far. And that's where random parts of card text would just, including monosymbols as well, would randomly display incredibly huge in gameplay or various parts of the client. Turns out that it was just caused by a middleware update and was later fixed by another middleware update. And that was it.
I'd like to answer the question of what was one of the weirdest, silliest, wackiest bugs that Arena has seen. For me, that's actually a tie. Early on in the development of Arena, we had a weird bug in which forests would add mana but not actually tap. Before tracking down the bug, we had to cancel a bunch of playtests, file a whole bunch of bugs, do a bunch of investigation, because we had no idea why our forests weren't tapping. Needless to say, most of the decks people were playing with were a lot of green. The other bug that we had was relatively recent. In the expansion Kaldheim, there's a card called Alrune, God of the Cosmos. That card originally said, you reveal some cards from your library, choose a card type, and then put all cards of that type into your hand. Arena interpreted that text very acutely, said, I'm going to put all cards of that type into my hand. All the cards I looked at, all the cards in play, all the cards in my opponent's library, so on and so forth.
I got a lot of questions asking about why isn't X thing on Arena. For example, in this case, Time Spiral Remastered. So why is that?
I wanted to answer a sort of category of question, which were all, why didn't you do X? From small things like why doesn't a card I like have a count badge on it, to why didn't you do a set like Time Spiral Remastered? And ultimately the answer to almost all questions like this in video game development winds up being that this is just a business of trade-offs. The team is the size that it is. We're currently still growing, but the reality is that we have a certain amount of bandwidth right now, and we are doing as much as we can. And people are tasked with having to make the tough call to decide that, this card's important enough, or this is a mechanic that's on enough different cards that we can afford to put a count on it. This one isn't. It's not getting played as much, and we just have to make those calls, unfortunately. And that goes from the small things all the way up to the sets like Time Spiral Remastered.
What sleeves on Magic Arena have the highest win percentage?
Which sleeves have the highest win percentage? Well, there's a handful of sleeves at the very top that were given out to a small set of pro players. But other than that, the winningest sleeve in Arena is the Japanese Alt Art Chandra Fire Artisan sleeve. Talk about turning up the heat.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty here for a second. How are new cards actually coded on Magic Arena?
Hi, my name's Ben Finkel. I'm a software developer for the rules engine of MTG Arena. The Rules Squad is broadly broken into two projects, the Game Rules Parser and the Game Rules Engine. My specialty is the parser. Its job is to take the raw English Oracle text for a card and turn it into code to make the card work. The parser starts by building a syntax tree and using it to analyze the structure and flow of the ability. It answers questions like, is this a triggered ability? Or what does the word until mean in the sentence? Then it walks through the verb phrases of the ability and figures out exactly what they mean in that context. One of the trickier problems in the space is called anaphora resolution. It solves the problem of figuring out what ambiguous nouns mean. So words like it and they are surprisingly hard to figure out, and there's no human who's going through and tagging what they mean. In fact, anaphora resolution is one of the biggest sources of bugs in our project. If the parser thinks it's found the correct referent for an ambiguous noun, then it generates code without complaint, even if that results in a card that doesn't really make sense. For example, the card Hellrider reads, whenever a creature you control attacks, Hellrider deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Well, the parser thought that it meant Hellrider. And so if Hellrider wasn't attacking, the trigger would do nothing.
Which cards have been hardest to implement in the Magic Arena rules engine?
Magic has a long history of breaking its own rules and changing in unexpected direction, which means that the card set team always has challenging projects to work on. One recent example comes from Kaldheim, Tybalt Cosmic Imposter. Tybalt's ability refers to specific cards from specific abilities that don't exist when the emblem is created. This requires careful setup to get this circular reference right. Contrast this with Rekindling Phoenix, which says return target card named Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's no reference to specific game objects. This means we don't have to do all of that careful setup. Part of the fun of working on card set is dealing with these challenges. And after Strixhaven comes out, ask me again and I'll have a totally different set of answers.
Big thanks to everyone from the Magic Arena team who appeared in today's video. It literally would not be possible without you. So, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see more interviews with the Magic Arena team in the future. And if so, I'll see what I can do. I'll talk with you all again on Monday. And in the meantime, may you have a lot of fun playing Magic Arena on your phone. You got this. Hint number 1. There is a mono white card that creates treasure. Hint number 2. There are 2 cards which call back to the same mechanical reference as something in Future Sight. Hint number 3.